The story begins with a mysterious and highly skilled assassin named Leon. At that moment, Leon is on a dangerous mission to deliver a powerful message to a feared mafia boss named Malky. As night falls, Malky and his group of tough-looking men were seen walking into a fancy hotel, their confidence and power obvious to anyone watching. But what they don't know is that their night is about to take a shocking turn. Shortly after, one of Malky's men suddenly feels a cold wave of fear as he nervously delivers a message about an unexpected visitor. When he turns around, he sees Leon standing there, calm and focused, holding a gun with deadly precision. The tension in the room skyrockets as Malky, trying to stay in control, tells his men to let Leon in. But before anyone can react, Leon moves like lightning, taking down each of Malky's guards one by one. The sound of gunfire echoes through the air, and Malky hears it through a device he's holding. Panic sets in as Malky shouts orders to his remaining men, but their confidence is shattered. Leon moves so quickly and skillfully that Malky's men don't stand a chance. Overcome with fear, Malky grabs his phone and tries to call the police as his last hope for survival. However, just Malky's shaking hand reaches for the phone, Leon appears behind him. To Malky's surprise, Leon explains that his mission wasn't to kill him. It was only to teach him a lesson. Leon warns Malky to leave the city immediately. And before Malky can even process what's happening, Leon disappears as quietly as he arrived, leaving Malky stunned and confused. With his mission complete, Leon returns to his small apartment, hoping for some peace. But his quiet moment is interrupted when he notices a young girl named Matilda. Her face shows the painful signs of abuse, and it's clear she's been hurt by her own parents who live in the same building. Leon, concerned, asks her if she's okay, but Matilda brushes him off, saying her problems are none of his business. With no other option, Leon goes back into his apartment, leaving Matilda to deal with her pain alone. On the other hand, a group of corrupt police officers led by a man named Stansfield were seen burst into Matilda's apartment. They accuse her father, Lando, of stealing drugs from Stansfield. Seeing the brutality of the officers, Lando, immediately terrified while Stansfield gives him an ultimatum: return the drugs by the afternoon or face deadly consequences. After Stansfield and his men leave, Lando takes out his anger on Matilda, yelling at her and making her feel even worse. Unbeknownst to them, Leon watches everything from behind his door. Once the commotion dies down, Leon quietly closes his window and carefully organizes his weapons. He sits down on his old sofa, staying alert and ready for anything, just in case danger comes knocking again. The next day, Matilda's family's still the same with their troubled home. Each member was wrapped up in their own world, ignoring the pain around them. Her stepmother, Ellen, drowned her worries in alcohol. Her father was too busy with his own problems to notice Matilda's struggles. Even her older sister, Elizabeth, showed no care for her. The only person Matilda felt close to was her younger brother, Carl, who she adored. Tired of Elizabeth always controlling the TV, Matilda decided to stand up for herself. She boldly changed the channel, but this small act of defiance made Elizabeth furious. As a result, Elizabeth lashed out, hitting Matilda until she couldn't take it anymore. Needing to escape, Matilda stepped outside for some fresh air. There, she unexpectedly ran into Leon. When Leon saw the bruises on Matilda's face, he felt a deep sense of pity. Wanting to help, he handed her some money and told her to buy something to eat. Overjoyed, Matilda rushed to the store, dreaming of her favorite snacks. But while Matilda was away, something terrible happened. Stansfield and his gang of ruthless men returned to her home. They stormed in like a dark cloud, killing Ellen and Elizabeth without mercy. The air grew heavy with fear as Stansfield turned to Matilda's father, Lando, demanding to know where he had hidden the drugs. Unexpectedly, Lando refused to talk, standing firm even in the face of danger. Frustrated, Stansfield ordered his men to tear the house apart, searching for the hidden stash. Meanwhile, little Carl, Matilda's beloved brother, was hiding under a bed in the same room where the chaos was unfolding. His small body trembled with fear as he tried to stay quiet, hoping the men wouldn't find him. Soon after, Lando, filled with anger and desperation, grabbed a rifle and fought back. He shot at Stansfield's men, injuring several of them and even hitting Stansfield's hand. But in the chaos, tragedy struck. As Carl crawled out from under the bed, trying to escape, he was accidentally shot by his own father. Heartbroken and defeated, Lando was then killed by Stansfield, who showed no mercy. When Matilda returned home, carrying her groceries, she acted calm, though deep down she was worried about her family. Knowing the attackers might still be nearby, she went straight to Leon's apartment, careful not to let anyone know she was connected to Lando's family. With fear in her eyes, she knocked urgently on Leon's door, hoping for safety. After a moment of silence, the door finally opened, and Leon welcomed her inside, offering her a safe place to hide. With Stansfield and his men gone, Matilda could no longer hold back her tears. The weight of the truth crushed her when she learned that her little brother, Carl, had been killed in the brutal attack. As time passed, her tears dried, and her mind began to clear. Curiosity took over, and Matilda asked Leon about his mysterious job. Unexpectedly, Leon told her the truth. He was a hitman, a contract killer. Upon hearing this, Matilda's eyes widened with interest, and she pressed him for more details, even asking how much he charged for his work. But Leon, sensing the danger in her curiosity, gently changed the subject and told her to get some rest. The next morning, Matilda woke up early and went straight to Leon's place. With a fierce look in her eyes, she made a bold request. If she could save enough money, would he help her take revenge on her brother's killer? Leon refused, telling her to let go of the past. But Matilda surprised him. She declared that she wanted to become an assassin herself, and even grabbed Leon's gun to prove she was serious. Shocked by her determination, Leon decided to take her to a nearby hotel to keep her safe. At the hotel, Leon came up with a clever plan. He told the staff that Matilda was his daughter, a young musician who needed to practice on the balcony. He warned the receptionist not to be alarmed if they heard any noise from their room. Once on the balcony, Leon began teaching Matilda the basics of sniping. He set up a target, a government official who was practicing shooting nearby. Matilda took aim and fired, hitting the target perfectly. The official's bodyguards panicked, but they didn't realize the bullets were just paintballs. Over the next few days, Leon trained Matilda intensely. They worked on her strength and agility with tough exercises. He taught her how to clean and care for weapons, showing her the importance of discipline. Not only that, Leon also made sure she ate healthy meals and even gave her the responsibility of taking care of his beloved houseplants. Slowly, a bond began to form between them. One day, Leon visited his old friend Tony, who acted as a middleman for his dangerous work, resulting in their friendship being built on years of trust. At that moment, Leon shared his earnings with Tony and took out some money for himself. In response, Tony joked that Leon must have a girlfriend, warning him to be careful. Leon immediately laughed and said he didn't have a girlfriend, but he did have someone he cared for like a daughter. He used some of the money to buy clothes for Matilda, showing how much she meant to him. Another day, Matilda's heart ached for her lost brother, Carl. She decided to go back to her old home to find his favorite doll and the money that her father had hidden under the floor. But when she arrived, she walked into danger. Stansfield and some investigators showed up unexpectedly. Acting quickly, Matilda hid and listened as Stansfield revealed a shocking truth. He had bribed the investigators to cover up the murders of her family. Anger burned inside Matilda as she heard their plans. At the same time, Stansfield scolded the investigators for showing up at the wrong time and told them to meet him at his office for their payment. When they left, Matilda followed Stansfield secretly, determined to find out where his office was. Later in the afternoon, Leon returned home after a long day. He was exhausted, but nothing could have prepared him for what was waiting. Matilda was there, clutching a bag of stolen money, her eyes filled with desperation. She begged Leon to help her take down Stansfield, the man who had destroyed her family. She told him she knew where Stansfield's office was and pleaded for revenge. But Leon, wise and cautious, warned her against it. He told her that seeking vengeance would only bring her pain and guilt, and that it wasn't a path she should walk. Matilda, however, refused to listen. In a shocking moment, she grabbed Leon's gun and proceeded to do the unthinkable. Her voice was steady but filled with despair as she gave Leon an ultimatum. Either he would help her get revenge and let her work with him, or she would end everything there. Leon was torn, but he couldn't let her do the unthinkable. Reluctantly, he agreed to let her join him in his dangerous world of assassinations. Before they began their mission, Leon took Matilda to meet Tony, his trusted friend and ally. Tony was skeptical at first, seeing how young Matilda was. But Matilda, quick-thinking and determined, lied about her age, claiming she was 18. Eventually, Tony gave in, allowing her to become part of their secretive and deadly work. Over time, Matilda proved herself. She learned quickly, helping Leon with tasks like sealing doors and preparing weapons, becoming an essential part of their team. One day, Leon visited Tony again, this time with a heavy heart. He shared his fears with Tony, admitting that he might not survive their dangerous missions. He asked Tony to promise him something. If Leon died, Tony would take care of Matilda and make sure she was provided for using Leon's savings. Tony, understanding the bond between Leon and Matilda, agreed to the request. When Leon returned to the hotel, he urged Matilda to stay behind, worried about the risks they were about to face. But Matilda's desire for revenge burned too brightly. Left alone at home, she couldn't stop thinking about Stansfield and what he had done to her family. She came up with a plan. Disguising herself, Matilda prepared a package of food to deliver to Stansfield's office. Hidden inside the package was a weapon, a symbol of her unshakable determination. When she arrived at the police station, the guards didn't suspect a thing. Matilda followed Stansfield quietly as he headed to the restroom. But Stansfield knew that she was following him. Once confronting her, Stansfield demanding to know why she was there. With her voice trembling with emotion, Matilda told him the truth that she wanted revenge for her brother's death. Despite this, Stansfield immediately pulled out his gun and threatened to send her to join her brother. Just as the tension reached its peak, one of Stansfield's men burst into the room. He delivered shocking news. Stansfield's right-hand man had been killed by a hired assassin. The interruption gave Matilda a moment to breathe, but the danger was far from over. Meanwhile, in a secret meeting, Stansfield's most trusted man made a shady deal with the mafia. But unbeknownst to them, Leon suddenly appeared and immediately putting an end to the man's life. When news of this shocking event reached Stansfield, he was deeply unsettled. Instead of going forward with his plan to get rid of Matilda, he changed his mind. He ordered his men to capture her, determined to find out who had killed his right-hand man. Meanwhile, at home, Leon found a letter from Matilda. In it, she expressed deep regret and apologized. She also made it clear that she was determined to take revenge on Stansfield. As Leon read her words, he felt the urgency of the situation. He had to act fast. He rushed to Stansfield's office, fighting through the guards who tried to stop him. His deadly skills took down 2 of Stansfield's men, allowing him to reach Matilda and rescue her. Together, they managed to escape to safety. Later that night, Matilda, feeling the need to connect, gathered the courage to ask Leon about his past. In the dim light of their hiding place, Leon shared his painful memories. He spoke about his late wife, who had died in a tragic car accident. Not only that, he also revealed a surprising truth. His father had once worked for Stansfield. In a strange twist of fate, Stansfield had indirectly helped support his family. But Leon made a firm promise. If Stansfield ever threatened Matilda, he would not hesitate to take his revenge. Shortly afterward, Stansfield and his men stormed into Tony's home, interrupting a family gathering for his grandson's birthday. Stansfield's face burned with anger as he discovered that Leon, a trusted member of Tony's group, was the one responsible for killing his men. Determined to take Leon down, Stansfield forced Tony to reveal where he was hiding. The next day, Matilda left to run a simple grocery errand, completely unaware that danger was closing in. As she approached Leon's apartment, she was suddenly ambushed by Stansfield's forces. Moments later, some of Stansfield's men broke into the apartment, only to be met with a storm of bullets. When the door finally opened again, their lifeless bodies were proof of Leon's deadly accuracy. Despite this, Stansfield refused to back down. He sent in more troops, determined to overpower Leon. Yet, with every attack, Leon stood his ground, striking down anyone who came too close. The surviving officers, now filled with fear, hesitated as they neared the apartment. To their surprise, Leon suddenly stepped forward, gun in hand, demanding that Matilda be set free. Outnumbered but trapped, the troops had no choice but to agree. As a result, Leon took one of them hostage, using him as leverage in his fight for survival. Inside the apartment, Leon realized they could not stay much longer. They had to escape. With determination, he broke open the wall of the air duct, creating a way out. Carefully, he wrapped his beloved plant and lowered it into the passage. But when Matilda saw the small space, she realized it was only big enough for one person. She refused to leave without Leon. Leon immediately pleaded with Matilda, telling her she had to go. He promised he would follow after handling the police forces surrounding them. With a heavy heart, he gave her one last instruction. If he didn't make it out, she must find Tony and claim all the money he had saved for her. With a heavy heart, Matilda left, walking away from the man who had become both her mentor and a father figure. Just moments after her departure, a missile struck the apartment, causing a massive explosion that shook the building. When the police arrived, they found an injured officer among the debris. Believing him to be one of their own, they quickly took him away for medical treatment. What they didn't realize was that this injured officer was actually Leon in disguise. Seizing the opportunity, Leon carefully slipped away, unseen by his pursuers. As Matilda made her way to Tony's home, Leon was preparing to leave the ruined apartment. But before he could escape, Stansfield appeared out of nowhere, catching him off guard. With no way to fight back, Leon made one final, bold move. He handed Stansfield a key, the key to the explosives hidden throughout the apartment. Moments later, a powerful explosion erupted, consuming both men in a final act of revenge and sacrifice. On the other hand, Matilda sought safety with Tony, bringing him Leon's last message. Instead of offering her comfort and support, Tony, overwhelmed by grief and anger, blamed her for Leon's death. Instead of welcoming her, he gave her only a small amount of money and ordered her to leave, telling her never to return. In the final moments, Matilda found herself alone at an orphanage, facing an uncertain future. Stepping outside, she carried Leon's beloved plant with her. Gently, she planted it in the ground. As the wind rustled its leaves, the plant stood as a reminder of Leon's spirit, living on through Matilda. Moral lesson from the story: revenge is like ordering spicy food. You think you can handle it, but in the end, you'll just be in pain. And if an assassin gives you life advice, maybe listen, because they're probably the last person you'll ever hear from.